This what I tell him. Look,
I've been grinding for so long, I wake up and chase my goals. I go out and I go get it. Hot or cold, that's all I know. I don't succeed, then I don't breathe. Success, what does it mean? If I conquer all my goals, then I'm living out my dream. Dig deep, go out and get it. Success Chronicles. Compete until it's finished. Success Chronicles. Go take care of your business. Success Chronicles. It's deeper than just winning. Success Chronicles.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Chip Baker coming to you with another topic session of the Success Chronicles. And today we have our regular Tina Huynh with us. And so she has a special friend that she brought on today. And I'm going to let her introduce him. And then we're going to get right into it. So, Tina, if you don't mind introducing your special friend here.
Hi, everybody. Okay, so this is my friend Winston, and he's the story architect at voicestory.ca. And he's done a lot of work with storytelling and helping people find their voices. And he's got a good question for Chip that we want to talk about this week. And I'll let you take it over.
Hi, everyone. So my question for Chip is, when you're telling your story or hearing someone else's story, what do you feel is more important, the voice aspect or the story aspect of the story itself?
Okay, so what's more important, the voice aspect or the story aspect? Well, I think to me, and when you say voice, can you describe that for me? Like, what do you mean, like, when you say voice?
Well, when I work with people, you understand that when you visualize your story, you know the story. You fill in all the gaps and everything. So when someone tells a story, the voice aspect would be how well it's spoken. Is it chunky? Is it broken? But going down deeper than that, is the story even overly practiced? Is there emotion to it? Or is it just so dry? And then when it comes to the story side, similarly, are you telling the story the right way? Are you losing me? Am I zoning out because it's a really boring story?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just curious to ask people, if you're listening to a story, which side do you feel is more important?
Well,
No right or wrong answer. It's just
a perspective of how I feel about it.
Yeah,
I think stories are always great. Because I think it's important to hear where the people are coming from, the perspective that they have on that story and what they learn from that experience. Of course, it makes it great when the voice is amazing and, you give some accents and, you put some emotions in it. And I think when you have a good mix of both, I think it makes for a situation where you really feel it. Like you truly comprehend and you get an experience that like it puts you in their story, like you really feel it, And I think when it's a good combination of both, but, from my end, interviewing people, and I do this because I'm super interested in the stories and
Mm-hmm.
sharing the stories to inspire others, and so I've heard some amazing ones, I've heard some really good ones, but I think the story to me is the big deal. But when you have both together, I think it's an awesome combination.
While I hear your answer, it's kind of like, it's like total serendipity that all of a sudden it's like, okay, it's like bump into Tina, next thing you know, I'm on here. It's like, oh, you're all about storytelling too, which is really cool.
Chip is a connector.
Yeah. So how I help people is very similar to what you described. Someone could tell a story, but then the back end, the story itself needs work. Then when you bring the two of them together and to the same level has so much more power. Other people have a great story and they don't tell it very well, and then that gets lost that way. So you have to balance the two together or bring them both up. And I'm sure, as you've experienced, when someone has both and they truly embody that story, it changes them. Big time.
Yeah, I truly agree with that.
As you guys were talking, I was kind of thinking, like, I was trying, because I haven't answered your question yet. I was trying to think of the answer that I would say, and I'm kind of taking the cheating way. I want to say both, right? You need both, but I think like you, more than the voice, just a little bit, you need that interesting or powerful story to be there first, and then you can like learn how to tell it better, which is what Winston would help you with. And then, but like if you didn't have that story to begin with, like even a great voice, like what are you talking about if you don't have a story?
That's it. I truly agree.
And to go, so now that you answered that, someone would go, so why does it matter? And how I want to make people aware of is everyone has stories, and everyone's story has power and impact. Mm-hmm. Especially every story that you have is unique to you, because there's no other you. There's only one you. So your experience is unique. And what people really don't see is your experience can help unlock and save someone. Like, and that's the key thing. When people go, my story does, what can it do? Well, your struggles, you're not alone. And someone sitting, no one understands, no one gets it. But then they can see your story and they're like, wow, he went through the same crap. He decided he wanted out. You know what? I could probably get out too. And that's all it takes, that one moment. And that's what I'm all about. So,
and I totally agree with that statement of what you're saying. A lot of times we go through things in our lives and we think that like I'm the oddball. I'm the only one that goes through those weird things, But like I picture like a kid growing up, being in an environment that's unfamiliar and trying to find their way, but really when you fast forward, we're all like that in life, truly, and so, we always come across experiences of things that we think that, this is weird, this is different, I don't know if I want to share this with anybody because it's personal and I'm uncomfortable with this. But then as you go through more of those experiences, reps make you better, repetition. And so, when you experience more of those oddball moments, I say oddball, but I mean, just weird moments, when you reflect back on it and you get around other people, well, everybody has a story. Everybody goes through those kind of things.
Mm-hmm. Not only that, like if you take the chance and you do share that oddball story of yours, people connect with you even more, and you build a better bond because they're like, "Hey, that happened to you too."
Like, for real? Yeah, really? I thought it was just me. No, really? Yeah, I agree with that too. I think it also when you finally get the courage enough to step out of the box and stretch yourself and share that, I think it makes you better as well.
What we say is you elevate yourself. I say this to people. You elevate yourself and you inspire people simultaneously. And the key thing that I help people, this is the one thing I really want people I work with to understand is all that I'm going to suck, I'm going to, like all that negative chatter that's in your head, you created it. There's no evidence at all that you're going to suck. You created all of it.
Yeah.
And there's no evidence at all that you're going to suck. And it takes a bit of work to make someone actually understand that when they realize I created this entire illusion that I bought into.
For sure. The only limits are the limits that you put on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
you know.
And I wanted to go back to when you said like the little kid. Another aspect that I got inspired from a TED talk from an educator where she said every child deserves a champion.
Mm-hmm.
And I work with adults and youth, and I ask them, I'll ask you, how would your life be different if you had someone that truly believed in you? When you sat there and said, I don't know, I'm going to suck. Like, you don't suck. You know what? Let's do it together. We're going to be there. And you could come across last on the finish line. Like, there's a face there that's smiling and saying, you know what? Let's do it. You're a champion. How would your life be different if you knew that there's someone out there in this world that just would back you no matter what when you were growing up, that had total faith in you? How would your life be different?
Well, I'm just going to step out there and say this to you, Winston. My whole life has been a lot of that. And that's why I'm here talking to you
Awesome.
today. Throughout my whole life growing up, and I don't know if Tina told you, I'm a fourth generation educator, teacher, coach. This is my 20th year in education. So I've been truly blessed. And growing up, my family is church folks and educators. So, growing up, I've been around amazing people to learn from, amazing people that were great encouragers, positive folks that, I've been blessed to learn from. And so, I mean, I can track from way back then, the track of, okay, you can do it. You got it. Let's go. I'm not going to let you fail. Get your butt in there and get it done. Those kind of things. On to the coaches. I played sports, played college football, so the same thing. People that push you and encourage you, even into my career, it's the same thing. And so I say this all the time, like, I believe that I've been blessed to be a blessing. And that's why I truly work hard to share other stories and why I do what I do, how I do what I do, because it's important to me. And so many people have done that for me. And I just want to do my part, in that positive ripple effect,
It's really cool speaking to you, because as I listen to your story, I'm actually the complete 180. I was on the other side where I grew up, and you're never good enough, no matter how hard you try. And my mom's gonna hate me for constantly saying this, but I remember coming home one day and I got 100% on the math quiz, and she looked and said, "Well, you could have done better." I'm like, "I got a perfect mark." She goes, "You missed the bonus question." and that's how it was. Like, I just grew up in a world where it's like, no matter what you do, you could always
not good enough.
But that really warped my perception of the world. And I grew up with the mindset that I can't fail and I'll never, ever have the world look down on me. But that's a really, that's a dysfunctional perspective,
right,
to grow up with, because it's you can't fulfill that, and it's just totally in the dark side of growing up. And luckily, I've met people, worked with people, and worked through all those, all that damage, and now I help kids to prevent that. But listening to yours, I'm going, wow, what would I be like if I had support?
Right.
It's amazing that you had so much support.
Well, and the same, on the same token, there were some rough things, that happened. But I was able to see people go through tough things yet still push through, if that makes sense. And so, there's some situations that I went through, single parent, all of those things that go along with, being broke and, all of that stuff, not having enough and everybody else has and you don't, those things, so those kids that I work with now, like, I know your pain.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I I understand. And as an educator, there's always, and in anybody, there's always a reason behind a behavior. You just have to take the time to learn what that is. And when you invest the time in doing that, then they see that you care because you've taken time to invest in them.
Yeah.
So now that builds trust.
Yeah.
And from that trust, they see, well, maybe he's an all right dude. Like, hey, like, I'm telling you, man, like, I know your pain. Like I'm not lying to you. Like, I understand. Like, I was hungry too. I'd come to school, hungry, and I'm not worried about a math test. I'm worried about when am I gonna eat. I get it. And so it's great stuff when you're able to be around people where you can learn from.
So I looked up that TED Talk. If you haven't seen it, it's by Rita Pearson.
Yes.
Oh, you've heard that one?
Yes.
My sister sent it to me when I was working with kids. She goes, "You really need to see this." And when I watched it, like it was coming out of my eye.
Yeah, every person that works with kids should watch that talk.
Yeah.
And her passion.
Yeah. Oh, and when I listened to it, I go, I don't think anyone could have presented, like I could take the transcript. No, I don't think anyone could have said those words.
I agree.
With it. Yeah.
I totally agree. Well, what I'd like to do, did I hit the questions that you had? Did you have any other questions that we need to touch on?
No, I want her to ask you a question.
Okay. I'm sorry.
What were you going to say before?
Oh, no, I was, what I'd like to say is, like, I want to, if you don't mind sharing, like your social media and where people can find you and support you. I know you talked about your website, but if you don't mind, saying all of that again to us. And so people can check you out and show you some support and love, my man.
So currently it's My Story Mondays, and it's being rebranded as Voice Story, because My Story Mondays, you can find us on YouTube. The concept of that was I created a space and I'm facilitating a moment that allowed normal, real people to share a moment of their lives to get their fear of public speaking out, but to share a moment so they can go and impact one person out there. And what I do is I take the video, I put it out on cable TV, I put it on the YouTube, out on the internet, so people can find it for free and watch it. And how I express it is, I grew up in a pretty narrow, I had blinders on, very Asian family, and I didn't get to experience much. But through this show, I've worked with people of the LGBTQ community, people with disability, all age brackets, and I get to see their experience a part of their world, and they gifted that to me, and it really broadened my horizon. So you can access all of these videos and experience a bit something. And if you feel stuck, if you feel alone, that no one understands, you know what? You're not alone. And the people that have spoken and shared, it's all types of stories of triumph and tribulation. Some are funny, some are sad, some are, educational. It's everything in between. And the idea is to really get people to understand and to connect, because this device here is the number one thing. Sure, you can connect in a heartbeat, but there's no connection through this. It's digital. There's no empathy and emotion. That's all stripped out. And I want to get people to understand that there's nothing like proximity, sitting 2 feet away from someone, hearing their voice, watching their body language, and feeling the energy that comes from them, and connect from them, because we're not here forever. And what did someone say? Everyone holds a piece of the puzzle. And who knows what could happen? Well, it's Timothy Leary said that. Everyone holds a piece of the puzzle, and who knows what can happen if you have a conversation with a stranger. Just like this. Connect with you, the next thing you know, it's like, I'm going to send a whole Send a whole bunch of info your way, Chip.
Well, and that's what I was gonna say. Hey, we need to connect and work on some stuff together
Yeah.
because I think your mission is very similar to what my mission is, and I think we all have a voice. I think
We didn't connect here by chance, and there's nothing happens by chance.
no doubt. And I think people need to hear the stories to be inspired.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for taking the time to talk with me on the topic of voice or storytelling.
Yeah, thanks, Chip. It's great to meet you, and I look forward to another conversation in the future.
That's it. Well, thank you guys for watching this topic session, and we'll see you next time. God bless.
Okay, see ya.
Go get it.